because we're looking through plastic here, but I wanted to give you the update on the Coturnix quail. So I just came in and changed the paper in here. Today, as you can see, is day 22. So they've been on this paper for 3 days, and they are doing really, really well. This is all I have left from the 93 hatch. I just have these 13s. Hopefully, these are going to my neighbor's sons. They had quail before, and they were very excited for me to tell them that we have some quail here for them. So, pardon the little blurriness to the plastic. We'll change that here in a second. But some things that I've changed, just so you know, as you can see up here in this corner, I have a Wise camera. So when I'm in my office working with my online business clients, off to the side on a tablet, I have this camera here, and I can watch the quail. Now, what I'm noticing from the quail is that they were all staying away from the center. I had a 200-watt red light in here, and it was just really too hot for them. So after watching that for a few days, they consistently stayed away from the center because it was too hot. And so this morning I put in a 125-watt bulb. It's a clear bulb. As you can see, there's no red to it. And I just have this sitting on top of this probably half-inch wire here. So as I see Zach doing in MyShire Farm on his YouTube channel, he has a brood box, and then he uses his priority mail boxes to help control the heat inside. And so I've done the same. I do a lot of shipping from LDS Prepper Store with shipping micronutrients, gardening books, my wife's herbal reference manuals, and so forth. So we do lots of shippings. I have a lot of these boxes here. Just place them on top, and this helps regulate the heat. So I can move this out and let more heat out. I can completely remove one and let more heat out. So it's a great way, inexpensive, kind of a practical way to maintain the heat in here. But as you can see now here with the 125-watt bulb, the chicks are all over the brood box, which means they're getting plenty of light. They don't have to stay away from the light because it's too hot. Okay, so a couple other things besides the blue paper. This is what they call workshop paper. It's not paper towels. It's the blue paper you get from an automotive store. That gives them good grip. It's nice and thick, so when I take it out, it doesn't fall apart, and it just works really well. Something else you see, just today, I added the feeder here. Until today, for the first 3 days, I have just the feed on the blue paper. And that's just because they haven't learned yet, how to find food. I put this feeder in here just a few minutes ago, and they're already right all over the feeder. Now, I've modified this feeder because with my experience, they get inside of the hole and they crawl around inside the feeder. I don't want them to do that, so I just took a piece of cardboard, cut it, like a big Oreo, like a big Cheerio. Anyway, made a ring, and so their head is big enough to get into the food holes, but not, the food holes are covered so that they can't crawl inside of the feeder. Keeps the feeder nice and clean, and helps, I think, minimize them making a mess. So you can see I didn't have to show them where the food was. I didn't have to spill any on the floor. They just came over and they found it without any problem. Over here on the water is a small rim. It's not the full-size chicken feeder that you normally see. There are 13 quail in here right now. All the other 80 were sold. But this is a small rim. It keeps it much, much cleaner. I do clean this out and wash it every morning, put fresh water in. But you can see they're able to get into that water feeder very easily, but they're not sitting in it, they're not pooping in it. So this is a very clean and healthy environment for them to be in. You can see they have lots of room. I could put a lot more quail in here for this square footage. But so they're just perfectly happy. If you have any questions, just go ahead and I saw a couple comments pop up in here or a question, but this is a really simple setup. It was just a storage bin from Home Depot. Went down to the feed store. Got the food feeders and the water feeders. We got the light at the feed store. My wife actually made this brood box herself. She just cut the top off of the lid and put the 1/2 inch mesh in there, and then just use some zip ties. And then I have this light sitting here. I have had it zip tied down, but I kind of like being able to move it to position it to wherever I want. So add a couple priority 1A boxes and you've got a brood box. If you want to be able to watch the chicks and make sure that they're healthy, you might want to include that Wise camera there, and then you can watch how they're doing during the day. But as you can see, they're just cute as buttons. These are not button quail, but they're just cute little animals. And they'll make some people happy. I was talking to a customer, picked up his quail a few days ago, and he said they're doing great. He just loves having them in their house. A friend of mine who raises bees here, they came and got some quail. I thought they were going to get like 6 or so. They ended up getting 30 for their family and their daughter. They just love them. They're just great pets, and they are set up as a pet, so you don't have to have any special permission in the city like you do with chicken. But it looks like to me that that little rim there is is working really well on the feeder. It's keeping them from crawling inside. And if I need to, I'll modify that later. But they have plenty of room to get to the feed, and they are very, very happy in there. Yes, quail can be in the house. I have them here in the garage. I clean out the poop once a day or every other day, and just minimal smell at all. I mean, not anything noticeable. People mention, "Wow, they don't smell and they're not noisy," because they keep thinking chickens, and these aren't chickens. They're much better. Okay. Wonderfully smart idea, and thanks for sharing. Peep, peep, peep. Thank you. You're very welcome. Baby is the reason why I'm here. Chicken food, if wet, first before dispensing will clump, and they will eat most of it, not powdery. And tip can save. Okay, so tip and save you 20% on their food bill. Chicken food, if wet, first before dispensing will clump, and they will eat most, if not powdery. Okay, you can give that a try. I've kept my food dry. I don't want it to go rancid. And I don't have any particular reason to get it wet. They eat it. It's nice and small for them. They can swallow it well as it is, as it comes out, without modifying it at all. So I can see where making it wet might make it clumpy and maybe less so that they spill. But as you can see, if they do spill, they're used to eating off the ground, so they'll come up and pick it up off the ground too. So the way that I have my cages set up, I have very, very, very little spillage from the full-size quail, and this here rim here on this feeder seems to work well too. So thanks for sharing. I may give that a try, wet feed. That's interesting idea. I'm certainly not a master at this. I'm just sharing what I'm doing. And what I'm doing seems to be working really well, and hope that this gives you ideas and helps you in your quail raising and in enjoying these great little animals. This is LDS Prepper reminding you, If ye are prepared, ye shall not fear. If you'd like to learn more about raising quail, go to MyShire Farms YouTube channel. You can come over to ldsproper.com and learn about living off grid, having a homestead, what's that like on a day-to-day basis, setting up security for that, solar panels, water filtration, how to heat, provide for the family on a homestead, geothermal greenhouse. We do it all over here. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.